Brought to you by Texas Law Shield. Over the last decade, Michael has championed and supported the rights of law-abiding Texans to own and use firearms. He is the owner of Central Texas Gun Works, a veteran of the United States Army, and has achieved national exposure in such prestigious media outlets such as Forbes Magazine, Fox Business News, CNN Money, AOL, BBC World News, Huffington Post, and the New York Times. Cargill vigorously defends lawful gun ownership in this country without regard to party politics. And now, here's Michael Cargill.
Good day, Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world. Let's praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. All right, so today we're talking about mass shooters. Should the mass shooter's parents face charges? So the parents of accused Oxford, Michigan school shooter Ethan. I know. Forgive me, Lord. The Oxford, Michigan school shooter Ethan Crumbley will still face multiple involuntary manslaughter charges, and a judge ruled Wednesday despite their attempts to squash the accounts against him. So they're still going to face those charges. Should they or should they not? I mean, he's 15 years old. He was 15 at the time of the shooting. And let's do a little recap here for those that do not remember this Michigan shooter. So I know we've had quite a few. So the parents of accused Oxford, Michigan school shooter Ethan Crumbley will still face multiple involuntary manslaughter charges. A judge ruled this on this past Wednesday. So Jennifer and James Crumbley were each charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter after their teenage son allegedly shot and killed 4 students and injured 7 other people at Oxford High School in November of last year. They have both pleaded not guilty, and their attorneys have argued in court that the charges have no legal justification and the couple should not be held responsible for the killings of their son and, as the accused. Now, in the court filings early this month, prosecutors argued to keep the manslaughter charges against the parents, saying their gross negligence allowed their son access to the murder weapon and allowed him to remain in school with the murder weapon, adding that their negligence was a substantial factor in the killings. In the judge's ruling on Wednesday, the judge ruled that, sided with the prosecutors and said, hey, a reasonable juror jury could conclude that Ethan Crumbley's actions were reasonably foreseeable and that his parents' actions could be seen as linked to what he did. So Ethan Crumbley has also pleaded not guilty to a slew of charges, including 4 counts of first-degree murder, 7 counts of assault with an intent to murder, 12 counts of possession of a firearm with doing the commission of a felony, and his trial was moved to January 17th of 2023. Man, we got to wait till next year. My popcorn's not going to wait that long. He needs to get the death penalty. Do you have a death penalty in Michigan?
No, they don't.
Darn. A judge announced during a pretrial hearing Thursday that the court case is going to be on January 17, 2023. Ethan remains incarcerated at the Oakland County Jail, and Crumbley's defense attorneys have said they plan to assert the defense of insanity at the time of alleged offenses. He's not insane. The parents just raised a monster, and they should be charged and they should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law because they raised a monster.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to confuse insanity with evil these days.
Yes.
And they're 2 completely different things.
Completely different things.
Mm-hmm.
You as parents, mother and father, you raised this little monster. You didn't discipline him properly. You went and you bought him a gun for what? Was it Christmas?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was Christmas. They, bought him a firearm, and knowing that you're raising this monster, you had to have known that he had some type of issues. Because the funny thing about this is Ethan, let's see here, because, what this kid did was, hold on, because I want to make sure we get the details right. So, and he had a journal, and in his journal, he described the type of gun he needed, who his first victim would be, and ultimately he expressed that he would surrender so that he could witness the pain and suffering that he caused. This is premeditated to the extent He's not crazy. He is evil. That's the devil himself. And so this kid knew exactly what he wanted to do. And these parents should have known, that their kid was evil, that they raised a monster. As a mother, you should have known you cooked up a little devil like that. And so, we're going to do you a favor, though, mother. We're going to send him right where he needs to be. We're going to put him in jail. Hope he gets the old in, out, in, out.
What does that mean?
We're going to hope he gets the old in, out, in, out.
What is the old in, out, Michael?
From Tyrone. Moving on. As far as my producer will let me go. So, man, it's insane to me. It's that they think that they didn't do anything wrong as parents. It's just, man, like, I just don't get it.
Yeah, and they withdrew a bunch of money and went into hiding, had a bunch of burner phones.
Oh, they knew they were in the wrong.
Uh-huh.
Running from the law, running around around the country, switching phones around, knew exactly how to hide and stuff like that, but still got caught. It's you're dead wrong. Man, I tell you, and we need to start holding parents more responsible. When it comes to these shootings, stop blaming the guns and let's start blaming parents who raise these monsters, these killers, this evil, and start prosecuting parents.
Well, I mean, to an extent, what if a parent doesn't do things wrong, but the kid just turns out evil? Then is it still the parent's fault? How do you determine that?
Because you, as a parent, you should know your kids, and it's like, hey.
I did a lot of stuff that I hid very well from my parents.
Let me tell you something. Okay. So I've raised a lot of dogs. I'm not saying that your kid's a dog, but hey, if that's what you raised, that's what you raised. So I've raised a lot of dogs. And I'm telling you, I know that, I have a little dog, Nikki, for example.
Oh, Nikki.
Yes, I probably shouldn't say her name because I'm going to get yelled at when I get home. Why did you say her name on the radio? Okay, so I have a little dog, and I know, okay, she shouldn't be out in the front yard because she doesn't like other dogs. She likes our dogs, but not other dogs. And so if I have her in the front yard, another dog walks by, I know what's going to happen. Exactly. That's what's going to happen.
So basically what you're saying is you raised this dog to be bad with other dogs.
So
it's your fault.
I already know what she's capable of.
But is that your fault?
I know what she's capable of, and I'm responsible if she does something because I know what she's responsible for doing, and I know I need to make sure that I keep her away from other dogs.
Are you responsible for her not being able to be around other dogs, though?
No. Yes, I'm going to be held responsible.
No, are you, though?
Civilly? Yes, I will be. Yes, absolutely. Because if she attacks another dog, whatever happens, I'm going to be held responsible for the medical bills. That's and true. And everything else. Mm-hmm. And rightfully so, because I know my dog. And as a parent, as a dog owner, my four-legged friends, I know what she's capable of and I know what she's going to do because I've had her for quite a while. I need to make sure that I keep her in the backyard and away from other dogs. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Folks, this is Doug Man Jones. And I get my gun news from Michael Cargill at Come and Talk It.
He didn't act that way. He never flinched. He went for his pockets. And when he went for his pockets, I thought my heart was going to stop. I mean, Hi, my name's Jerry. The incident we're going to talk about took place in early March of 2017. Started back about 3 years ago. We had a fella in the neighborhood that nobody really knew. We weren't familiar with him, and he was pretty regular about speeding up and down the street. It escalated into more speeding, threats. He chunked some rocks up into the yard, and broke my windshield in my truck, and it escalated from that into death threats. And he was constantly chirping about how he was gonna end it, and he was gonna kill so-and-so, he was gonna kill me, and it was all chirping. The day of the confrontation, I was leaving the neighborhood and heading to a meeting in downtown Fort Worth. It was a beautiful day. I had my windows down. I was in my Suburban. As I was heading out, just about to leave my neighborhood, this guy comes into the neighborhood, sees me coming out, pulls into my lane, causes me to stop, and then he kind of cut at an angle in front of me and jumped out of his truck and ran at the side of my Suburban, saying, "Today's the day you're going to die. He's going to end it." He comes over and he's slamming his hands up against the side of my vehicle, my truck. But he's screaming at me, telling me he's going to kill me. He's going to end it. This is the day I'm going to die. He reaches in to try and open up my door. I grab my weapon. I put my weapon right at his chest at the window and told him to get back, told him to get the hell back. And he never did. He never moved. He never changed anything. He went for his pockets, shuffling into his pockets, and he pulls out his cell phone. I drove off around and called 911 before I got to the end of my street. Yeah, I've carried a weapon for pretty near 20 years, and I've never had to pull my weapon out. Now, I can tell you that when you do that, it's the emotions are incredible. You feel the flush come through your body because you just pulled a weapon on somebody. You're pointing a gun at somebody, and they don't move. And that's a whole nother. They didn't say, "Whoa, I'm stop," like anybody that you'd think would do that, but he didn't act that way. He never flinched. He went for his pockets, and when he went for his pockets, I thought my heart was going to stop. I was actually told that if he would have pulled out a gun, he'd have shot me before I could have actually pulled the trigger, and that's pretty awakening. I contacted Texas Law Shield and spoke with them and got a statement that I wrote, and I turned it in.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're talking about the parents of accused Oxford, Michigan shooter Ethan Crumbley. They're still facing multiple involuntary manslaughter charges, but it gets better. So the parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley, are in an unusual predicament here. If their strategy is any indication of this. So check it out. They're planning on calling their son, the Oxford school shooting suspect, the killer, the monster, the murderer, as a witness to help them in their criminal case. Their lawyers announced this past week. They said, "Hey, we need him as a witness in this trial because we need Ethan to come forward and testify in our defense." So listen, people. Unless Ethan, that little monster, is going to get up there and start speaking in tongues, he's not going to help the parents in their case. And then whatever he does to help the parents in their case, he's going to hurt his case because he's supposed to be cray-cray. You can't be cray-cray and then testify for your parents and help them out.
Judge, my physical and mental, my physical as well as my mental fitness.
It's not going to work. Okay? It's just not going to work. All right, so Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald questioned how and why they would use their son to somehow highlight his role in the case to help them. This is not, according to the DA, this is not about the defendants wanting to throw their son under the bus. Well, I'm sorry, according to the defense there, this is not about the defendants wanting to throw their son under the bus or making him look bad. When the prosecution criticizes the defense of being selfish, we are going to be selfish all day. Selfishly, we have to protect their rights. That's what they say. I don't know. That's just crazy to me. How in the world that he's going to get up and testify to help his parents out without hurting himself?
So they're crazy and he's evil.
And now they're using him as a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're the evil ones.
How is he even pleading not guilty here? What's the game plan? I wonder.
He says he's not crazy. He's not guilty because of he's insane. That's what he's saying. He's insane.
Insanity?
Insanity. Yeah, that's it. So Smith said she understood that and that their questioning would be limited to Ethan answering questions involving extraneous matters that are important in the case. Whatever he does, however he answers those questions, that they're going to hurt him in his case. There's no way this 15-year-old, whatever line of questioning they do for him, it's not going to help him. I'm telling you right now. It's not going to help him whatsoever. So this is just craziness. And I'm just curious, the track record of the attorney that are advising them of this. But unless they're using their son as a scapegoat, hey, it's going to work great. But it doesn't matter because they're still going to be convicted because they are responsible because he was 15 years old. And in most states, you're even in Texas, check this out. The Texas law says that if a child younger than 17 years of age gets access to a firearm, you as the parents can be charged with a crime if he discharges that firearm and someone's injured.
That's
killed.
Texas.
That is Texas. All right. So even in Texas, we have that. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they say. They're going to jail times X amount of times of the people they injured and killed. That's it. That's the bottom line. I don't care what you have to say. And I can't see any jury having any sympathy for these guys at all. And they ran from the law. Switched phones. They knew they were wrong. You were hiding. You were running. You had burner phones. Man, you tried everything to try to hide from the law.
Okay, I got one for you, Michael.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's go back to the dog.
Let's go back to the dog.
Alliteration here. And let's take, for example, the family pit bull that was just the sweetest thing ever. Okay, that just loved the kids and never, ever had any kind of outbursts. Right? It was just the most loving dog ever until one day it ate the toddler.
You're responsible. It's your fault.
It is?
Yes, it's your fault.
But you said the parents should have known that he had these tendencies. What about the dog that never showed any tendencies, that just showed love and affection? That pit bull that was so sweet. It just licked your face and wagged its tail and protected you,
Sure, absolutely. Yes, I get it. Now, name a case.
Name a case of that?
Yes.
Oh, I've heard that so many times.
I'm sure you have, because people lie. They're a bunch of liars. That dog has exhibited something. I'm telling you right now, he's shown something. There's no way in the world. Yes, he was such a precious, my precious. He'd never done anything wrong. My precious. And he just loved everybody. And all of a sudden one day he snapped. That's a lie.
But there has to be a first time, right?
No, you're a
What
liar.
if it's the first time
Liar, pants
when
on
they do
fire.
that?
No, you're a liar. I'm telling you right now. You know your dog was rotten to the core.
I'm not here trying to defend them.
Yeah,
Okay? I'm
they're a
just
bunch
citing
of
some
they are a
examples.
bunch of liars. I'm telling you right now, they're a bunch of liars. It never happened. I need a court case. I need an example. They're a bunch of liars. Didn't happen.
So the people that said that, they're just full of it.
Full of it. Full of what I can't say on the air. what comes out of 3-point contact, they're full of it. As close as I can go.
Stop right there.
All right. So, man, I tell you. So, you guys tell me, we've heard about this case in Michigan. We've heard about the parents. We've heard about a lot of shootings around the country. And I want to hear from people, you tell me. In a lot of these cases, and we're letting the parents off the hook. You look at the case in Uvalde. They're like, oh man, this poor kid, he was so poor, and he bought a gun, and he lived with his grandparents, and he had a lot of problems and issues, and so he went to a random elementary school to shoot random kids, and he paid $2,000, over $2,000 for one gun. Who buys the Lamborghini of firearms when you're poor? No one does that. I'm gonna buy a Lamborghini and hop the curve and run over a bunch of people.
The Daniel Defense AR-15 with the EOTech optic on it, right?
Yes.
That's not cheap.
No, you're talking. Now you're at $3,500
plus the other AR.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're at $6,000, almost $7,000 for a freaking 2 guns. That doesn't happen. Why didn't he go buy the
M&P Sport?
Yeah, Smith & Wesson M&P, or the God, what's the other one? I can't think right now. Matthew was sitting here, he'll spit it out. DPMS, or there's another one even
PSA.
Cheaper than that. There's one. Yes, there's one cheaper than that. You can buy an AR-15 for like $500. Mm-hmm. He didn't buy the $500 AR-15. He bought the $2,500 AR-15. and then bought 2 of them. So you're talking, and with all the accessories and ammunition, you're talking $7 grand. You know, you can't say poor kid, he lived in a poor neighborhood, you know, he didn't have a job. You can't use that excuse at all.
Yeah, something really, really funny and odd that I noticed. If you look at the Uvalde shooters AR-15s side by side with the Indiana mall shooters AR-15s, they are almost identical.
Yeah, because there's something going on with Discord, whatever that is. What is Discord?
It's a chat server.
Chat server. Okay, so Discord, and apparently, you know, these shooters are communicating with someone on Discord. Someone's like egging these guys on, you know, getting into their head. You know, hey, you know, what up, Billy? You know what I would do if I were you? I would get this rifle right here. Not that rifle. That's too cheap. Get this rifle over here. Even though both of them do the same thing, one of them, just because the name is a little more expensive, don't worry about that. You know, but they do the same thing. Get this rifle over here, and I'm going to show you exactly what you can do. Add this on it, and we're going to both... something's going on there.
Yeah, Uvalde kid was a burger flipper. How did he afford $8 grand worth of firearms?
Where's the beef?
But yeah, so the what's going around is that the Discord person was in contact. Some person, unidentified individual, was in contact with the Uvalde shooter and also in contact with the Buffalo shooter.
Law enforcement. I'm sorry, what'd you say? Just call it like I said.
Oh yeah, and law
some
enforcement
stinks there. Some stinks there.
The cops were on video during that. What is it? 80-something minutes of
77 minutes.
77 minutes of standing down.
77 minutes.
They're getting hand sanitizer.
Yeah,
Okay?
He's like he's so concerned with getting germs, you know. Well, you know, the baby's dying in the other room with this wall right here, but let me wipe my hands.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
What is going on there?
That is some crazy stuff. I just need to know what goes through people's heads, you know. I just can't be that type of person standing in the hallway of an elementary school while kids are crying, bleeding out, and just knowing that I have body armor, I have the AR, the rifle. Man, I would give my life for one of those babies. I would give my life for them.
And that's exactly what the Indiana mall kid did that stopped the shooter.
Was he 21?
He took it into his own hand. 22.
22 years old. 22. Indiana. Guys goes into the mall, starts a mass shooting. This 22-year-old pulls out his concealed handgun and sends him right to Jesus.
Yeah, he was at 40 yards. He hit 8 out of 10.
That's a hero right there. What's his name?
22-year-old.
We'll find his name.
His name's Elijah.
What's Elijah?
Very interestingly.
Yeah, we need to say his name because he's a hero. And that's what they're not talking about. They're not talking about this hero here. He is a hero. We come back from the break. We're going to talk about this hero, Elijah. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Hi, this is Stephen Williford, the Barefoot Defender. I get my global gun news from Michael Cargill at Come and Talk It.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government. After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, we're going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill.
because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were complying with the statute. And that's not right.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
Let's go to Indiana. I want to talk about Indiana. There was a mall shooting in Indiana, and the guy that took out this shooter don't care about the shooter himself. He was evil little bastard.
He's a clown.
That's right. He was a clown. Don't want to talk about him. What I want to talk about is the person that took him out, that took out the shooter. Elijah Dickens. Say his name. Dickens. Say his name. Elijah Dickens.
Elijah Dickens.
Say his name.
Dickens.
Yeah. Oh, I'm saying with the S at the end?
No S.
Okay. Elijah Dickens.
Mm-hmm.
Say his name.
Elijah Dickens.
Elijah Dickens.
Elijah Dickens.
All right. Elijah Dickens. Say his name. That's what I'm talking about. So Elijah, dressed in shorts and a T-shirt, was shopping with his girlfriend when a gunman opened fire on a food court at a Greenwood, Indiana mall last Sunday evening, killing 3 people and wounding 2 others. While the shooter, 20-year-old evil man scumbag, fired 24 rounds from an AR-15 style rifle, Dickens did not hesitate to use a Glock handgun he was legally carrying. So he stopped this guy within 2 minutes of him pulling out a gun, start shooting people with an AR-15 within 2 minutes. Many more people would have died that night if not for a responsible armed citizen, Elijah Dickens. He took action very quickly within the first 2 minutes of the shooting. And this has all been reported by the Greenwood police chief, James Ilson. The grandmother of Shay Goldman, Dickens' 19-year-old girlfriend, says her granddaughter's life was one of those spared through the young man's actions. Eli pushed me out of the way and told me to get down and stay down, according to the reports. Everybody should be proud of him for what he's done because if not, there would have been a lot more people that were killed. So say his name, Elijah Dickens.
Elijah Dickens. I saw a comment on Twitter. Basically, somebody said on there, he's not a good Samaritan because the Greenwood Park Mall is a gun-free zone. No one should have had a gun to begin with.
Yeah, that's that little scumbag. What's her name?
The Twitter name is Dante Jawula.
Nah, somebody else said that crap too. It was I want to say it was like the Moms Demand Action. God, what is her name? I can't think of her name right now. See, I saw a little meme of that. And here's the deal. It's like Texas. Okay, so if you're in Texas, Texas constitutional carry. Let's say you go to the mall and there's no signs that say you can't bring a gun inside. No Ghostbuster sign, no gun on it with a line drawn through it, no 30.05 sign. Then you can take your gun in there on the Texas constitutional carry law. That's without a license. But let's say there is a sign on it. There's a sign on it, you can't bring your gun inside. But let's say you get a license to carry a handgun. You get your license, and let's say the mall decides to post a 30.06 sign or a 30.07 sign on the entrance of the mall. Since you have a license in Texas, you have a license, and you don't see the sign, you don't notice it, they have to give you verbal notice to ask you to leave. If they don't give you verbal notice, then you can carry the gun there. You need more notice as a license holder. So in Indiana, this guy was legally carrying a firearm because in order for him not to have a firearm there, he had to be given notice to leave. He was not given the notice, so the gun was legal in the mall. So there's nothing he was doing wrong. And how can you fix yourself to complain about the fact that this guy saved lives unless you're trying to promote a higher body count. Are you crazy? He saved lives. He stopped other people from being killed. And you're upset because he pulled out a gun and shot the shooter. That is insane. I don't get it. Am I crazy?
Doesn't sound like it so far from what you're saying.
Is it me? am I in the Twilight Zone? You know, what's going on here? And I just don't get it. You know, this guy pulled out a firearm and he stopped the shooter. And you literally have people on social media complaining that he carried a gun in the mall and stopped the shooter. What is going on here? Is it just me?
I think people are dense.
And they honestly want a higher body count. I cannot think of her name for anything in the world.
Maybe they don't realize what they're actually saying.
No, they don't. They're just crazy. And I need those people, you know, to just not be around me, you know. I'm sorry, you know. And that's why I'm always going to carry a firearm no matter what.
Their ideology is worth more than human lives. Their ideology of gun-free zones and trying to get rid of guns is worth more than the lives of these people that were saved.
Yeah. And after the shooting, he approached the mall security and told them he was the one that neutralized the shooter. And he waited for the police to show up. Exactly what he's supposed to do. Mm-hmm. You stop the shooter. You holster your gun. You start administering first aid and, you know, contact, you know, police, paramedics, whatever, get the, you know, first responders there. And you wait for police to show up. And then call your attorney. That's important. Call your attorney. Let your attorney do the talking for you. That's really important because you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. It's not, it's about, you know, because you don't know who's going to show up and start asking questions and stuff like that. You don't want to put yourself in legal trouble. So let your attorney do the talking for you.
Do you want to tell them any facts or do you just want to shut up completely?
You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So what I do is, you know, while I'm waiting for police to show up, I'm on the phone calling my attorney saying, here's what happened, attorney. And I'm going to make sure that no one can see me speak to my attorney. No one can hear my voice. No one can see my lips move. I'm covering my mouth. I'm going to speak to my attorney, and then I'm going to tell my attorney exactly what happened, and then ask my attorney, what do I do? And I will list my attorney's instructions. If my attorney may tell me what to say, my attorney may say, you know what? Let me talk to the police for you. And I'll let I'm going to follow my attorney's instructions.
Shut your mouth.
That's right. Yeah, we heard it. You know, we did an interview with, what's that? The group of attorneys, the Wasserman brothers?
Yeah, them.
Shut
Yeah,
them.
The heck up.
Yeah. So, yeah, we did an interview with the Wasserman brothers out of California. They had that, you know, that wonderful Friday that they talked about. You know, sometimes you just got to shut up. And there was a little more to that one. So you can Google it, the Wasserman brothers. All right, so, man, I just don't get, you know, some of these people that are complaining about that. Mississippi. What happened in Mississippi? I want to talk about that. Mississippi, the Mississippi police chief was fired because he was bragging, you know, about the fact that he killed a bunch of people. You know, he killed some people and bragging about how many shots he fired. So a small Mississippi city has a new police chief now after his last police chief was secretly recorded bragging about shooting and killing people in the line of duty, including a black man who he claimed to have shot more than 100 times in a racist and homophobic rant. Former Lexington Police Department Chief Sam Dobbins was fired Wednesday after the city's Board of Aldermen voted to oust him in a session that lasted more than an hour. And the vote came after a former officer leaked a recording of a conversation he had with the chief in April. The officer, Robert Lee Hooker, gave the secretly recorded audio to Julian, a civil rights and international human rights organization, which released it to the media. And then the small city of 1,600 and about 60 miles north of Jackson, about 80% of the city, nearly 1,300 people are black, census data shows. The newly appointed interim police chief, Charles Henderson, who is black, told the USA Today in an interview Friday that the language used by his predecessor in the recording is something typically that I wouldn't use and that I wouldn't want anybody employed and under my administration to use. In the audio, Dobbins can be heard bragging he shot and killed 13 people in the line of duty, including a black man who he says he shot 119 times, according to a copy of the 16-minute recording obtained by the USA Today. Now, I'm curious. He was fired. Now, there's no statute of limitations on murder, so I'm just curious. Are there going to be any charges?
You want to hear something hilarious?
Go ahead.
Well, it's sad, but it's kind of funny in a weird way.
It's sad. It's just reality. You know, life is, yeah.
All right, so this story is this guy killed 13 people. He shot one guy 119 times, okay?
119 times.
The audio is what got him busted.
Right.
CNN's headline for this story is Mississippi police chief fired after audio of slurs surfaces.
That's all? Just slurs?
Yeah.
How about shot someone 19 times and bragging about it?
119 times.
Well, you know.
Killing 13 people in cold blood.
That's it. That's if you don't want anyone to read the story. You say, hey, I covered it. I covered the story.
This is CNN.
I covered it. Let's keep it moving. That's all they want to do, I guess. We covered it. In the next story, let's keep going. Man, I tell you. Dobbins can be heard, the former police chief that was fired, can be heard using multiple racist and homophobic slurs as he claims he would defend Hooker on the job. When contacted by the news outlet, Dobbins denied using slurs and talking about the number of people he shot or killed. I don't like talk like that, he told the outlet. And Hooker, who is the current black police chief, started with the department this year, but resigned days after having a verbal fight with Dobbins. So it's going to be I tell you, Jackson, Mississippi, you know, why are you surprised? Why are we surprised? Why it's Mississippi? Why are you even shocked or surprised? Even to this day in 2022, I will not drive through Mississippi at night. Even in 2022. I don't screw with those people. I'm not messing with them. I drive through there during the day. I make sure I have my AR rifle. I make sure I have two 100-round drum. I make sure I have my shotgun, as much ammunition as I possibly can, you know, and I don't stop when driving through that state during the daytime. I don't screw with those people. So I don't even, it's not even a joke. And I'm telling you straight up, this is 2022. I don't screw with Mississippi. And I don't know why I don't even know why people even stay there. I wouldn't stay in that state. Reality, it is what it is. You know, hey, I live in the United States of America. I live in reality here. I don't play games with, you know, these people in that state. Mississippi, Alabama, you're on my list too. I don't screw with Alabama either. I don't roll through that state at night, and I barely want to roll through Georgia. Matter of fact, I make sure I'm where I need to be in Georgia before 10 o'clock at night. I don't screw with those people there. And North Florida, I don't screw with North Florida. Don't do it. I get on down to South Florida, to Fort Lauderdale before the sun goes down, because I know what happens in North Florida. Don't play around there either. It is what it is. Such is life. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
This is Coleon Noir, and you're listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, I invoke my right to remain silent, and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned, those statements can and will be used against you because you're not being interrogated. You're just starting to spout off. This is why it's imperative that you know your rights, and you shouldn't rely on the police to read them to you. Affirmatively invoke your rights. Say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent, and my right to my attorney. Once you do that, the police legally shouldn't continue questioning you without your attorney present. But remember, there's a second part to this equation. After invoking your rights, you must exercise those rights. That means you have to keep your mouth closed. Protect yourself. Don't let the legal system take advantage of you after an incident. And Law Shield members, if you've been involved in a self-defense incident, remember to call the emergency hotline and speak with your independent program attorney.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so let's go to Utah. Utah, that's a nice state. Nice mountains. I love driving through like Salt Lake City, Utah. I like going in the wintertime. I like going to Ute Mountain. I think that's in Utah. I think it is. Somewhere that part of the country. I love driving through going through the Indian reservations. Pretty state. Nice part of the country. Let's go to Utah. So police have released a body cam footage from an incident at a Midville McDonald's where a 4-year-old shot at officers back in February. So the 12-minute video shows the moments leading up to the arrest of a 27-year-old Sadat Johnson, as well as what took place after one of his children shot at police at the drive-thru. Now, Unified Police Department initially responded to the McDonald's on February 21st around 1:30 p.m. when employees reported that a man brandished a gun in the drive-thru after his order was incorrect. Now, okay. Now, this is a problem. I don't know what's going on.
What's the problem with that, Michael? Come on.
That seems like a totally normal thing to happen.
You've never done that before?
No, never done that before. Okay. My order's not right. Not a problem. What do we need to do? Can we fix it? Can we not fix it? You don't have it. You're out of product. Not an issue. It's not a big deal to me. It's not serious. It's freaking food. So
food.
How about this?
Food isn't serious, Michael?
It's not.
What happens when you don't eat it?
I'll select something different. But I'll select a different item on the menu is what I'll do.
Come on, man. You ain't black.
So you don't have you don't have the item that I'm looking for. So I'm going to pick a different item on the menu. It's not a big deal. People just need to relax and chill. It's not that serious. But check this out. So he pulls a gun out because his order is incorrect. And the staff calls the police. The police show up immediately, pretty quick. So then they pull the dad out of the vehicle, and his son picks up a gun, 4 years old, and fires shots at the police. 4 years old.
Did he kill anybody?
No.
Fortunately, he missed,
why?
And he hit the McDonald's building.
He hit the building, yeah.
Well, he didn't hit anybody.
He's lucky they didn't blow him away.
He didn't hit anybody because he didn't take a class with Michael Cargill.
No.
Hey, give me the cha-ching sound, Casey. Yeah, baby.
No, sir. I don't need the 4 years. No,
I don't need that smoke.
I don't need that.
So what do you do in that situation as a cop? Do you shoot the 4-year-old if they're shooting at you?
You do. You do.
Do you though?
Oh yeah, you do. I'm
man.
advocating for
Do
it.
you?
Yes.
Do you?
Do
Yes.
you?
It's a small target.
Jesus, he's on his way.
What if you miss and you hit the 2-year-old brother?
Lord, he's on his way.
Late-term abortion right there, brother.
Okay. So, check out this. There's a video to this, all this mayhem here. And you have to really look really close because you have to listen also because it's hard to hear, and hard to know when the gunshots actually happen. But at the point you get to where the kids are being removed from the vehicle, the shots have already taken place. So if you see that part, you've already missed the shots. All right, so looking at the video here. All right, and so we should be playing that video here shortly. It's all right. So, you know what? And I'm not looking at it myself here. Let me make sure I'm looking at it. All right. Talk us through what happened there, Zach.
The cops arrive after they're called when the guy brandishes the gun at the drive-thru McDonald's. So the police get there. They walk up to his car, open his door. They tell him to get out repeatedly. Then they open up his door,
Snatch
pull
him from
out,
the vehicle. Yeah, that's right.
And while they have him pinned face down on the ground, well, I believe one of them yells gun. And then right after that, shots are fired from the vehicle by the 4-year-old child.
4-year-old child.
By the 4-year-old child.
So, Zach, let me ask you. Okay. Are the parents responsible?
Yeah. I'm wondering, is that, well, if he's being arrested and his gun is in the car, is he still, how is he negligent if he's not,
the
he
kid's
doesn't have autonomy in the car?
Zach, he's 4 years old.
Well, what's he supposed to do? Keep the gun on him while he's getting arrested?
Or did he hand it to the kid?
Maybe
He's like, shoot the cop.
If that's the case, that's
different.
different. But if he's getting arrested, then the police should have, taken the gun and securely stored it, if you will.
Oh, he should have said something like, hey, I have a gun here.
He's 4 years old. He never expressed anything like this ever before. Is
that accurate?
He's 4 years old.
Is that true?
Can barely speak.
Are you sure he hasn't done a drive-by or two before?
4 years old.
We went over this while you were gone.
That's right. That's why I'm saying this. He's 4 years old.
It's an inside joke.
He's 4 years old. So, are the parents responsible now?
That guy is in that situation, yeah.
I don't know.
He left the gun where the kid could access it.
This kid is
so
never...
He is at least negligent, criminally negligent. Right?
Have you ever been arrested, Zach?
No, I have not.
Okay, so when you get arrested, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to, store a gun, especially if you're seen reaching for a gun to store it, then the police might shoot you. Do
you tell them you have a gun when they're basically pulling you over, or
are you required to do that? Is that illegal?
If you have a license, I believe yes.
Yeah, still in Texas. Michael? Yeah, if you have a license, you have to.
Well, then he should have done that.
Inform the officer that you're a license holder.
Did he have a license?
Did you?
Do I?
I
do.
You're talking about this. Did that happen to you?
No, I've been arrested. I'm just saying, when you get arrested, it's like, come on, you're not going to be expected to reach for a gun and be like, hey, I got to securely store this so my 4-year-old doesn't blow you away. I mean, come on, that's not realistic.
Well, it shouldn't be really accessible to the 4-year-old in the first place.
Correct.
Well, it probably wasn't when the guy was in the car.
Well, it had to be.
Well, what if he had it on him?
Well, if he had it on him when they pulled him out of the vehicle, it would be on him when they snatched him from the vehicle.
Yeah.
This is complicated, man.
No, it's not
He
complicated.
probably had it in the cup holder, not in a holster.
Yeah, and cup holders aren't for guns. They're for cups.
And Texas has got to be in a holster. It's got to be a holster,
Yeah, I do that.
Is that what you do?
It has to be in a shoulder or belt holster, right, Michael?
No, not anymore. So
not anymore?
The law changed. As of September 1st of 2021, they removed the shoulder or the belt part away. They removed that. They just say, hey, if the gun's in the open, it has to be in a holster.
A holster is the
A holster.
But the holster can be in the cup holder.
There's no definition of a holster.
So it could be a sticky holster now.
It could be anyway. It could be in a holster, the gun in a holster, and the holster located in the cup holder, on the seat. As long as it's in a holster, it's legal in Texas.
So you could put it in a cup.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that's
what I was just going to say. So technically, you could just say a cup is your holster.
No.
Why not?
That's not a holster.
How do you determine what a holster is?
Write holster on it.
Well,
then it's a holster, right?
This is a holster.
Legally.
See, this is where
It's
a plastic bag that just says holster.
It's a
and it's in the
custom
cup holder.
styrofoam holster.
All right, you're listening to precedents here. This is how people go to court and wind up, and getting charged and convicted.
Yeah, you're gonna get convicted, Zach. Get it together.
No, it's fine.
Styrofoam holster is not going to cut it.
No.
Can you use it? What if you had it? What seriously?
Is
actually?
that a typical holster that people use?
Well, what if it's
the cup?
What if it's
I'm
custom?
starting a trend.
What if it's custom, man? What if you deconstructed a styrofoam cup and assembled a styrofoam holster, and you started selling those online en masse?
If you drop the soap, don't pick it up.
Okay, so that's a no. That's what we call that.
That's what we're saying.
You could have just said no.
No,
well, I'm always just playing devil's advocate here.
Okay. All right.
Here at the show, it's my position.
Oh man, you can as you're watching this video though, you can barely tell when the shot actually is fired, and I'm telling you I'm surprised. I'm actually shocked.
I blame
they
rap
didn't shoot the
music.
kid.
Not parenting in this case.
No,
it's rap music's fault.
Yeah, he was listening to too much
that gangster rap.
Jay-Z. I'm being satirical.
I know.
For anybody listening that can't see me, that's satire.
He's joking. He's only joking.
It's all fake news.
In all seriousness, though, I do think that if he was was he dragged out of the car?
Yeah, he
pulled
was
out.
snatched.
Pulled out. Yeah, I mean. So look, the gun. Okay,
Like, the
to
kid
get
was
back
justified.
down to earth here, if the gun was in a holster in the cup holder, and he was pulled out of the car, he didn't have time to secure that. So really,
It was already not secured.
But it's legal to have a gun in a holster in a cup holder. We just determined that, right?
Maybe
Michael?
not if there's a kid in the car, right?
Well, I'm not the expert here.
So I bet, correct me if I'm wrong, counsel.
I'm not counsel.
Where's Edwin Walker at? when we
Let's
need
say
him?
there's a gun in a holster in the cup holder and you're in the car. If a kid grabs that gun, shoots someone with it, then
Well, a
you're
4-year-old's
still
not going to
criminally
be
negligent.
It was the 4-year-old in the front seat. That's still
in the
car
back seat.
Yeah, so it was not within reaching distance with the kids in the back seat.
That's not a terminology, reaching distance. That's not a legal term.
Well,
there.
how do we determine if it's
Accessible.
accessible? Well, that's not accessible to a
Yeah, it
4-year-old
is.
until
You ever seen
the
a
parents
4-year-old
pull out of
climb
the
over
car.
something?
Yeah, I have a 4-year-old.
Michael tells a story in his class about a little kid that sees his father put his gun up in a top shelf every time he comes home. And then the kid climbs up on the counter, and then he puts a stool on the counter, and something climbs on top of the fridge.
But the dad's not
and
there
gets
when
up
that's
there.
happening. That's my point. Once the
Still,
parent
that's
is,
not
you're still responsible.
accessible.
once the parents
you're
removed
still
from
responsible.
yeah, but the kid's not going to grab the gun if the dad's next to the
What
gun.
if the dad's in the toilet?
Then he should have brought his gun with him. So what I'm saying is,
The
when
kid-
the
the
police
dad is
pulled
responsible.
when the guy was pulled out of the car by the police, he should have A, told the police he had a gun, or B, the police should have, looked and seen if there was a gun there before they attended
Nope,
to
that's
him.
bad parenting. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening.
Oh God,
to Come
what
and
is
Talk.
this?
There you go.
We're upside down.
Peace, this is Maj Toure. You're listening to Come and Talk It Radio with Michael Cargill.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, I invoke my right to remain silent, and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard. Quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned, those statements can and will be used against you because you're not being interrogated. You're just starting to spout off. This is why it's imperative that you know your rights and you shouldn't rely on the police to read them to you. Affirmatively invoke your rights. Say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent and my right to my attorney. Once you do that, the police legally shouldn't continue questioning you without your attorney present. But remember, there's a second part to this equation. After invoking your rights, you must exercise those rights. That means you have to keep your mouth closed. Protect yourself. Don't let the legal system take advantage of you after an incident. And Law Shield members, if you've been involved in a self-defense incident, remember to call the emergency hotline and speak with your independent program attorney.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so, man, Houston, Texas. You know what? Wait. Before we go to Houston, you see that? What was that little video you sent me earlier today of the little kid that was like kicking at the little toddler in diapers, kicking at a police officer?
This was just a couple weeks ago, I mean, it's still relevant, especially with what we just talked about. To segue off of that.
Yeah. Like, really? You know, kicking at a police officer. You know, that's going to be part of the problem right here. You know, we're talking parenting. Is all these little things that we're talking about. You know, parenting. Yes, you need to hold police officers accountable when they do something wrong. We also need to be better parents and control our kids and realize the fact that, you know, as a parent, it is my responsibility to tell my kids what they can and can't do and to act like a parent. So this was in, what city was this in? It was in Minnesota.
It was in
St. Paul, Minnesota. You know, after the George Floyd, you know, incident in Minnesota, you know, things are just, you know, police don't know what to do. You know, they're like in shell shock. I don't know if I should pull people over for a speeding ticket, you know? They don't know what to do now. So take a look at this video here. And so this little kid is actually kicking and trying to swing at a police officer, you know, and he's literally in diapers. And I'm telling you right now, they're better people than me, because I'd have disciplined him right then and there. That's right. If the parent's not going to do it, I would have done it.
Would you have shot him?
No, I wouldn't have shot him. I'd have
You
disciplined
wouldn't give him the old in out, in out.
No,
like
no.
Tyrone?
I would have pinched him. Put my hands right on him and turned that skin sideways until he screamed.
It looks like he also, after he punched the officer, he tried to grab his wrist and twist his hand.
Yeah, because the parents are not going to discipline these children. Someone else needs to discipline them. I'm telling you right now, you need to start spanking your kids. I'm telling you right now, we'll be a lot better off. I'm telling you. If you're not going to do that, then you're just going to raise little school shooters. That's right.
Elaborate.
Nope, can't elaborate. I said what I said. I said what I said.
What I say is what I say.
That's right. I said what I said. All right, so let's go to, what town is this? Houston, Texas. Houston, man turns tables on a would-be carjacker. So a 21-year-old man in Houston told authorities he shot and killed another man who was trying to carjack him Tuesday at a gas station. So Houston Police Department officers were dispatched to the 8300 block of Park Place Boulevard close to 5:30 p.m. following a shooting. When police arrived, they found a 29-year-old man unresponsive in a crashed vehicle a few blocks from the shooting. He was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. Now, the shooter told police he was sitting in the vehicle when another man approached him, initiated a physical dispute, police said. And at that time, the male in the vehicle fired several shots and struck the male, a police statement said. The shooter then exited his vehicle and called 911. The wounded man got into the shooter's vehicle and fled before crashing a few blocks away. And the case is being referred to a Harris County grand jury. So, and we talk about this in class all the time. You're at a gas station. Now, I'm going to give you a couple different scenarios. So let's say, and I always bring this up in class. Let's say you're at a gas station, Zach. You're at the gas station. It is 5 p.m. right now. You're at the gas station. You get out of your vehicle. You put your credit card information in the pump there. You start, doing your information in there, and all of a sudden, someone jumps in your vehicle and pull off. Can you shoot them?
I doubt it.
No, you can't. Not for theft during the daytime, because that's theft, and that's during the daytime. So let's say you have got some kids in the car. You went and picked up your niece or your nephew. They're in the vehicle, and you get out at the pump there at 5 p.m., put your credit card information in the pump there. Someone jumps in the car, pulls off. Can you shoot them?
Okay, now that's kidnapping, right?
So now you can, because now the vehicle's occupied, and it's the castle doctrine. Since the vehicle's occupied, you can use force the other force to protect the kids in the car. It's about the kids, not the car. So yes, you're correct. So it's 5 p.m. No, let's go. Let's see. Let's go 10, because it's June, summertime. It's 10 p.m.
It's nighttime.
Nighttime. 10 p.m. Nighttime.
30 minutes after dusk, right? At least.
Uh-huh. And you're at the pump there, putting your credit card information in the pump there. You're by yourself. Someone jumps in your car, pull off. Can you shoot them?
Theft during the night, yes.
Yes, for theft in the nighttime. 30 minutes before sunrise, 30 minutes after sunset.
I mean, the difference between those two is literally night and day.
That is correct.
Do the ba-dum-ching.
Yeah, give me something, Casey. Come on.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so in this situation here, now, you're in your vehicle, you're at the pump there, and you're putting your credit card information in the pump there. Someone comes up and say, give me your keys, give me your car, give me your wallet. They're demanding it.
It's a robbery?
Yeah. Now can you shoot them?
Do they have a weapon?
At 5
That's
p.m.
robbery.
At 5 p.m.
Or is it armed robbery?
Let's say they don't. Let's say
aggravate. It has to be aggravated.
Let's say
they have to be aggravated.
Let's say they
robbery,
don't.
Armed robbery.
They
both.
don't have a weapon. You don't
It's
see
robbery.
one. Let's say you don't see a weapon.
Still robbery.
They demanded it from you. Can you shoot them?
Yes.
Yes, you can, because that's robbery. All right. Now they walk up to you at 5 p.m. They produce a gun. Say, give me your wallet. Give me your keys. What do you do?
Well, they have it pointed at you already?
Yes.
Give them your wallet and keys?
That is correct.
Wait.
That is correct.
Hold on.
Yes.
Repeat
Yes.
that.
You're at the pump there. It's 5 p.m. You're putting your credit card information in the pump there. Someone comes up, says, give me your keys, give me your wallet, and they have a gun pointed at you. What do you do?
They have a gun?
Gun.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you look. First of all, let me
Okay.
tell you.
All right.
You give them. You give them. This is not a Hawaiian shirt. If you're about to say that.
No, it's not. I'm looking at the devil, and I'm looking at it. You're right.
Okay. You give them you stuff,
Okay.
and then you shoot them.
When?
Or you drop your stuff on the ground.
Yeah, you just throw it at their
On
feet and say,
accident.
there you go. Boom. Blow a hole right through the side of their skull.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, you
Just
legally can shoot them, but you're probably not going to be quick enough to shoot them before they shoot you.
Yeah. I mean,
so you give it to them. They have a gun pointed at you.
what is
You
this,
give
the
it to
Wild
them.
West? You're gonna,
You have to give it to them.
Come on
okay? Now, when they grab it
Then you blow them away.
and they run away,
then you shoot them.
yes,
You can shoot them in the back, correct?
on the Texas law,
Shoot them right in the back in the
to
spine.
recover your
paralyze them.
to recover your property immediately after in fresh pursuit.
But you only shoot them to stop the threat.
You can use force or deadly force to stop them to recover your property they just took from you immediately after in fresh pursuit. That's how it works.
All right.
Anything outside of that, what you just talked about, you're committing a crime.
You know, all this stuff I learned from you, Michael. Just FYI.
That's why you've never been arrested.
Wait, I thought you were Michael Cargill.
And see, that's why he's never been arrested.
Yeah, same.
My dad taught me when I get pulled over to turn my car off, turn the radio off, roll all the windows down, put my keys on the dash, hands at 10 and 2. Yes, officer.
See,
no,
okay,
officer.
Your dad taught you that?
I would never
Wow.
do that because if you're rummaging around, moving stuff around,
No, you're not rummaging around, moving
that's
stuff around.
because you don't look like somebody like me. I look like a
No,
deviant
I'm not
man.
rummaging around. I'm not.
You're
like,
moving your hand
I'm
around.
not like in my center
Look, dude,
console
this is
while
what
the
I do. Every time I've
police
ever been pulled
officer walks
over,
up.
hands on the wheel, correct?
Mhm.
I absolutely do not turn my keys off. I don't turn the radio off. I don't. I don't
well,
change it.
you've been arrested.
Wait. Let me. Let me
No,
explain this up.
no,
Let
no,
me
no,
explain
no,
this
no,
up.
no.
Let me
No.
explain this up. Let me
No,
explain this
when
up.
I've been arrested for being, I've never been arrested actually being pulled over. for
But
the
you've been
record.
arrested.
But not for being, not when I was pulled
But
over.
you've been arrested. Right.
Look, man, let me tell you something. All right. What I'm saying is this: you don't want to be moving your hands
You're not
around.
doing that. I'm not doing
That's
that.
not from your
I just go
perspective.
ching, ching. Like
Yeah,
that.
that's what you did. You just went like this. Hey, if you're listening to the show on the radio, go to YouTube. Put Come and Talk It on. Look what Zach just did. He just did the T-Rex.
Yep.
Come on, man. That's not realistic. You're turning your thing off. You're putting it up here. You're turning the radio off. I don't reach for my insurance or any ID or anything until the police officer is at the window because I've been yelled at for that.
Okay. All right.
Well,
Yeah.
never been arrested.
I've never been arrested when I was pulled over. So that argument does not hold up.
Just in general, never been arrested.
Okay.
Oh, ooh, look at me. I'm a great guy. Whatever.
Not
dude.
saying that. Just saying. That's what I was taught. This works for me.
You probably pay your taxes too.
Some people did something.
Oh man, I want to hear the Texas GOP. I really
I want to hear. I want to hear what.
I want to hear that convention video.
I want to hear what people have to say about this. Chat into the show. Go to YouTube, type in "Come and Talk It," and go to the live feed and give us your opinion. Man, let Zach know that I'm right.
But how do you respond when you're pulled over by police? What should you do? I've heard all kinds of things. I've heard people say you take your gun out and put it on the dash.
What?
I've heard, yes.
Well, according to Zach, that's a great idea. I'm not rummaging around. I'm just
never said that.
slamming a gun on the dashboard.
Never said that.
You're crazy, man.
Not included in what I said.
That's right.
Keys, guns. Hey, you know what else you should throw on the dashboard? Your weed and your cocaine. Yeah, do that too. Good God, man. You're crazy.
Just 0, multiple.
12.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is why every Sunday we have anywhere from 20 to 40 people that have to take the beginner firearm safety course because it's court ordered.
No, if there's one thing I do take very seriously, it's firearm safety.
That's right.
Dead serious.
All right.
Because if you don't take that seriously and you're pulled over, you can get hurt. Right. Or your 4-year-old can shoot a police officer.
When we come back from the break, we're gonna go around the country and talk about some different stories. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jack Jones here, and I get my gun news from Michael Cargill on Come and Talk It.
Hello, my name is Edwin Walker. I'm an independent program attorney with Texas Law Shield. I want to talk to you today about an issue that we see on a daily basis. In fact, you yourself will encounter it on a daily basis, and that is the subject of road rage. I am sure that you have all seen road rage. You may have actually been involved in a road rage incident. Now, if you're a responsible gun owner, I'm going to give you a few words of advice on how to react when you find yourself in one of these unfortunate road rage incidents. While on the roadways, we all observe something that makes us upset. Whether it's poor driving, unsafe driving, or just simply somebody being very discourteous. By all means, you should restrain yourself from engaging that person and telling them how bad their actions were, because this can be perceived as an act of road rage. If you're a lawful gun owner, you have a firearm in your vehicle, you do not want to be viewed as the aggressor in a road rage situation. Now, with regard to a situation where an individual has chosen to rage against you, and you are the actual victim of the road rage, if you and the other individuals are still in their automobiles, do not use your firearm to respond to any of the rager's activities. This is because law enforcement views the fact that you're both still safely in your metal boxes as removing any threat of immediacy that you may be harmed. So please, if you have a gun, somebody is raging against you, forget you have a gun. Don't display it, don't brandish it, don't show it, don't point it, and for God's sake, don't fire it. This could result in a lot of trouble for you. Now let's look at a situation where a road rage incident has escalated. It has escalated to the point where one of the participants has actually gotten out of their vehicle. We recommend that you stay in your vehicle at all times. Do not exit your vehicle, because the person who exits their vehicle is going to be looked at as the aggressor. If the other individual has exited their vehicle and they are not in contact with your vehicle and they do not have a weapon, then do not feel that you can display your weapon in an act of self-defense. People are allowed to just simply stand there and scream at you, scream whatever they want. Until they make a demonstrative effort to try to harm you, there is no immediate threat that would justify displaying or shooting or brandishing your firearm. Now, in the event that the person shows their own weapon, in particular a firearm, the existence of their weapon would give you reasonable belief that there was an immediate threat of harm that would
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so let's talk about this assault weapons ban before we go around the country here about different news stories. So I want to talk about what Congress is trying to do, what's actually happening in D.C. We talked a little bit about this last weekend, but we talked about the previous bill. I want to talk about the current bill. All right, so you've heard the expression, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Well, congressional Democrats led by President Joe Biden are trying to take that mile right now. You may have heard about the assault weapons ban, that bill, well, the assault weapons bill that's coming down the pipeline in D.C. But we're going to break this down for you, and that's congressional bill, it's House Bill 1808. In essence, this bill would ban all firearms that are not bolt action, lever action, pump, or slide action. Also, it would ban magazines that hold more than 15 rounds. That's been amended from the original bill that called for 10 rounds, folding or telescoping stocks and threaded barrels, amongst other things. The bill, as of this morning, is out of committee, and according to what I'm reading in the media, the Biden Democrats are still looking for votes. But with over 200 sponsors, I anticipate it will get a favorable vote on the floor of the House. Now, basically, if it isn't a hunting long gun, it's an assault weapon. Don't know what that is, but they're calling it assault weapon. But they're going to try, and they got their inch with Senator Cornyn's help. As you all know, the question is, will they get their mile? So please don't let them vote without hearing from you. What you need to do, you need to contact your elected officials. Let them know. Don't give them another inch. Also, While you're doing that, call Senator John Cornyn's office at 202-224-2934. That's Senator Cornyn's office. He's a senior senator from Texas. Give him a call, Senator Cornyn, at 202-224-2934, and make sure he stays in his lane on this topic here. His job is to represent Texans, and after he gave them their inch on the last gun control grab, yes, that's sarcasm there. That was hardly an inch, but please tell him that this mile is just too far. All right? Make sure you do that for me this week. That's all I ask. Give them a call. Now, let's talk about some things that are going on around the country. So, the New York County DA, since the U.S. Supreme Court handed down this decision in a New York SRPA versus Bruin, affirming the Second Amendment right to bear arms for protection outside the home, New York politicians have been on the warpath against the right to self-defense. Despite Governor Kathy Hochul's and the New York State Assembly's best and unconstitutional efforts, New York County District Attorney Alvin Bragg has managed to upstage the lawmakers in the ongoing assault on freedom. On July 1st, Dominican immigrant Jose Alba was working behind the counter at Blue Moon convenience store in the Harlem neighborhood of Manhattan. According to the media reports, a dispute arose when the 61-year-old bodega clerk did not allow a woman to leave the store with an unpaid item. The woman initially left the store, but returned with her 35-year-old male companion. Upon returning, the 35-year-old man proceeded to go beyond the store's counter to confront Alba, despite the clerk's pleas for calm. After invading Alba's workspace, the man verbally intimidated the clerk and physically assaulted him. As Alba attempted to get away, the man continued the assault. At this point, Alba was able to secure a knife from a nearby shelf and successfully used it to defend himself, stabbing his attacker. The assailant was killed in the struggle. According to the New York Post, Alba's attacker was on probation for assault and reportedly had been arrested at least 27 times previously. Making clear he didn't relish having to defend himself, Alba told the press that he was very sad about the incident and noted, "I didn't want to do this." Thanks to the store's multiple surveillance cameras, the entire episode was caught on video. While the means of self-defense may be different, Alba's story is similar to what many NRA members have been seen in American Rifleman's long-running Armed Citizens column. And, maybe that's why the New York George Soros founded DA decided to come down on the bodega worker like a ton of bricks. Despite the fact that the case, Bragg's office charged Alba with second-degree murder, the owner of the store. Moreover, Bragg's office reportedly asked the court to hold the hard-working immigrant on a staggering $500,000 bail before the amount was lowered to a still eye-watering $250,000. Unable to come up with the money, Alba was shipped off to New York's notorious Rikers Island jail.
That's bad.
Oh, yeah. Bragg's behavior in the Alba case takes on a sinister character when considering alongside his treatment of actual violent criminals. The DA made headlines for a January 3 memo to staff outlining his new soft-on-crime policies. Among the proposals was to reduce pretrial incarceration, which the item explained by saying we must reserve pretrial detention for very serious cases. Man, this is just crazy. I mean, what do you say to that?
I mean, it's obviously by design. If he treats violent criminals regularly with ease and like a sort of a lethargic punishments, and then somebody is in a clear case of self-defense and throws the book at him, it's being done to make sure that people are being trained socially not to defend themselves.
Well, check out this former police officer. He said, "My heart goes out to for this hardworking, honest New Yorker that was doing his job in his place of business, where a person came in and went behind the counter and attacked him, standing outside Alba's bodega. The former police officer said, "We have enough people who are there for people who break the law. I'm a person that's there for people who follow the law. And as I saw it from the video, I saw a voter here inside the store following the law. And he should not have been approached in the manner that he was approached. And I think it is time for New Yorkers and Americans to start standing up for people who follow the law." So following this public outcry, Albel's bail was reduced to $50,000, and he was released from Rikers after spending several days in jail as a press time. And Bragg has not dropped Albel's murder charge as of yet. That's just crazy. It's a lot going on.
Are you sure you pronounced that word right? Bodega? I heard Jill Biden say it.
Bodega.
Come on, man.
Bodega.
No, it's
no, I'm kidding. You didn't see that clip?
No.
Oh, man. She was trying to appeal to Hispanics, and she was talking about breakfast tacos and then pronounced bodega. She just butchered it. It was so bad.
Oh, man. That's just crazy.
Her and her husband got something in common.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
They don't know how to speak.
Well, check this out. Let's stay in New York while we're at it. So as New York officials prepare to defend the state's new and almost certainly unconstitutional gun licensing law, the president of the state's Bar Association has called attention to the significant deficiencies in another law, the Extreme Risk Protection Order, a.k.a. Red Flag Law. New York's Extreme Risk Protection Order law, enacted in 2019, allows a court to issue a civil order that prohibits a person from acquiring or possessing guns and directing law enforcement to search for and seize guns from anyone subject to an order. Any relative, regardless of the relationship, past or current spouse, Gary, a cohabitant or dating partner, Gary, school administrator, treating healthcare professional, district attorney, or police officer is automatically qualified to seek an order based on allegations that an individual possesses a potential future risk of harm.
You talking about my crazy baby mama?
No, I'm not saying. I'm just asking what your opinion is of this story.
I mean, it's nonsense, man. You can have. You're just referencing the general disdain that my ex-girlfriends all have toward me. I see what you're doing. I think it's ridiculous, man. Going both ways, not just towards men, but there's weirdo dudes out there too that can just make stuff up about their exes.
That's right.
I don't know why you would ever take somebody's ex-spouse, partner, fiance, wife, girlfriend, or anything, why you would ever take anything they say without a boulder of salt, because they're not with that person anymore. They could be totally jaded and hate them because of factors that have nothing to do with whether or not the person is a risk with a firearm.
Yeah, that's why you need to know who you date. Don't date those crazy people.
Well,
and don't date anyone that's going to call the police on you.
Yeah, that's
what happens in the house stays in the house.
Okay.
That's how I handle it.
I see what you're talking about now.
Shut up, Gary.
Just make good decisions,
Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. That's how you handle that. We come back. I want to go to Arizona.
We're not coming back.
Oh, we're done.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. That went
This
so
is
quick.
Michael Cargill,
Well,
and
hold
you
on.
are listening to Come and Talk.
I'm going to tell you this. As
No,
always,
this is
folks.
This is Michael
As
Cargill.
always, more guns equals less crime. You go out there and you just buy yourself a gun. You've been listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.